Hello fellow Zelda fans, I'm Hyrule Monkey, and thank you for taking the time to watch this theory video. The Legend of Zelda is a franchise that has captivated many, with its creative dungeons, interactive puzzles, and most importantly, its adventurous storytelling. I quickly fell in love with the franchise as a young kid with a Nintendo 64 and a brand new copy of The Legend of Zelda, The Ocarina of Time. That love expanded to every Zelda game that was released thereafter. Each new story was better than the last, growing upon the success of its predecessor, taking the good and making it better. Every time a new game was released, the Zelda universe expanded in lore and wonder. Over time, fans began to notice that the series had an overarching story of light prevailing against darkness that connected each game together. Using the ever-deepening lore of the series, fans have been able to theorize just how each game fits into that puzzle. However, with every question that we answer, many more get to be asked. Today, my thoughts have been turned towards The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. In this installment in the Legend of Zelda series, we are introduced to the world with a tale of woe and despair. The story begins with a telling of the events of the Ocarina of Time, known to the people of the current era as the Legend of the Hero of Time. After the Hero of Time wielded the Blade of Evil's Bane in a ferocious battle against the Demon King Ganon, Zelda led the 6 sages in a ritual that sealed the Demon King away in the Sacred Realm, along with the Triforce of Power he came to wield. After the hero's success, he was returned to his original time to enjoy his life as a child, getting to experience the joy of growing into adulthood naturally. With that, the hero vanished from their world, leaving behind his piece of the Triforce of Courage. This piece of the Triforce of Courage was then split into 8 fragments and scattered across the land to avoid being found by those that would use it for evil. Some generations later, the Demon King crept forth from his confinement within the Sacred Realm and began wreaking havoc on the beautiful kingdom of Hyrule. Knowing the tales and the legends of the Hero of Time, the people waited desperately for the hero to appear once more. But that hero never came. Eventually, their plight grew so dire they prayed to the gods for aid. The gods heard their pleas and caused a great flood to envelop the land of Hyrule, causing the people to flee to the mountaintops in order to survive. During this time, it is presumed that Princess Zelda was hidden away, her piece of the Triforce of Wisdom broken in 2 in order to avoid detection. Generations later, the Hero of Winds is born on the little island of Outset and begins his quest to save his sister. This ultimately leads to his collection of the Master Sword, the restoration of the Triforce of Courage, and the demise of the Demon King Ganon in this timeline. I have been enthralled with this game and its story since its release in 2002. However, I have had a question in the back of my mind ever since that day. Why didn't the Hero of Time come to save Hyrule? Why did it take so long for a hero to appear? I have pondered this question for many years, and today I think I finally have my answer. So let's dive in. To find our answer, we must first unearth the lore that built up the Legend of Zelda: The Skyward Sword, and in turn, the humble beginnings of the legendary hero himself. In the Skyward Sword, we are introduced to the first incarnation of Princess Zelda, the goddess Hylia reborn in human form, as well as the first incarnation of Link, the spirit of the hero. We also are introduced to the hatred or the Curse of Demise, which will later be known as the Demon Tribe's Curse. After an epic challenge to one-on-one combat amid a water-covered battlefield scattered with lightning strikes, our first hero, Link, bests the Demon King Demise. With his final breath, Demise exhales a curse. To those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. The Japanese texts read a little differently, but the gist is still generally the same. This curse locked the hatred of Demise, or the Demon Tribe, and the people of Hylia into a never-ending battle, a struggle for power between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. In her wisdom, the goddess Hylia bound her spirit and that of the hero to a cycle of reincarnation to ensure that if the demon tribe's curse ever moved against her people, she, along with her chosen hero, would be there to stop it. Based on this, when the Demon King Ganon crept forth from his confines within the Sacred Realm and began wreaking havoc upon the land of Hyrule, the hero and Zelda should have been there to stop him. In this case, the hero never came. While it is unclear whether the spirit of the hero is one singular spirit that reincarnates into the world time and time again, or a description to denote the caliber of one spirit, I believe that the evidence points towards the spirit as a reincarnated being, so we will run with that as our working theory. The reason why our hero of time couldn't come to save the people of Hyrule when our Demon King first broke free from his confines dates back to the events of The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. When young Link first drew the Blade of Evil's Bane, he was considered worthy of the title Hero of Time, yet too young to take up the mantle, not yet being 16 years of age in some games, and 17 years of age in others. Hyrule Historia does state, however, that the Master Sword sealed Link within the Sacred Realm. Within the Temple of Light, the cornerstone of the Sacred Realm, the ancient sage Rauru watched over Link in a small area called the Chamber of Sages. Link, guarded by Rauru, slept for 7 long years. This means that initially, Link did not actually travel through time. He just slept for 7 years until he could use the Master Sword, and by extension, take up the mantle of Hero of Time. This is extremely important to note. Link is originally from this adult timeline. This was his original future. His body was present in this timeline from point A when he grabs the Master Sword to point B when he awakens. He was just asleep the entire time. He isn't the hero of time, he's just a hero that took a really long nap. The split in the timeline only happens after the glorious and final battle with the Demon King Ganon. In the end, the hero is shown having a conversation with the Princess Zelda, or at least he's listening to her monologue. Zelda says, "All the tragedy that has befallen Hyrule was my doing. I was so young. I couldn't comprehend the consequences of trying to control the Sacred Realm. I dragged you into it too. Now it is time to make up for my mistakes. You must lay the Master Sword to rest and close the door of time. However, by doing this, the road between times will be closed. Link, give the Ocarina of Time to me. As a sage, I can return you to your original time with it." In this, our princess blunders yet again. This singular act is what creates the child timeline. While Zelda may have restored his body to that of a child and sent him back in time, this Link does not receive his original future. This Link had already seen the gore of battle and the hardships of war. This Link knew the terrors of evil. This Link had honed his skills. While growing old, having a family, he regretted seeing no one worthy to receive his knowledge and training. His body eventually dies, and his regrets cause him to become a shade, and his spirit was cursed to roam Hyrule, searching for one worthy to receive his skills. He does not succeed in this until the events of Twilight Princess. The Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess is very similar to the beginning of the Ocarina of Time. Both games start in a time where the Golden Triangle, the sacred Triforce, has gone untouched and unbroken by the hands of evil. As a result, when the curse of the demon tribe comes knocking, the Triforce is able to call out to a chosen hero and awaken them. This call is received by Link, a 17-year-old ranch hand and descendant of the Hero of Time. This Link courageously embarks on a journey to save his friends, the children of his village. He is subsequently recognized as one worthy of becoming a hero when the mark of the hero appears upon the back of his hand, while he is trapped in the Twilight Realm. This saves his life while transforming him into a noble beast. Upon the Twilight Hero's return to Hyrule, he is met by the Hero Shade. Over the course of Link's journey, the Shade shares his secret techniques with the young hero, tutoring him in the art of swordsmanship. After all his skills have been taught, the Shade gives this farewell. You have at your disposal the basic sword technique known as the spin attack. You have mastered numerous hidden skills and now house the spirit of the true hero. So why is all of this important? Well, this is where time travel gets really confusing really quickly. The spirit of the hero that belongs in the original adult timeline that leads to the events of the Wind Waker was sent back in time to a point before the Master Sword was drawn. This removes the spirit of hero from the Wind Waker timeline and placed him in a timeline that led to the events of Twilight Princess. In this timeline, a spirit of the hero already existed, not having yet been called on his journey to save Hyrule, and never getting called on his journey to save Hyrule, because there are now two spirits of the hero existing in unison in the Twilight Princess or Child timeline. The spirit of the hero from the Wind Waker timeline used his knowledge of a possible future to stop the events of the Ocarina of Time from completely unfolding by leading Hyrule in a war to seal Ganon away before he could touch the Triforce. In this timeline, the Sacred Realm never gets opened. This causes the spirit of the hero that already existed in the Twilight Princess timeline to not awaken until the events of Twilight Princess. Knowing that Ganon would eventually return from his timeline, and having been unsuccessful in killing him once and for all in two timelines now, the spirit of the hero that originally belonged to the adult Wind Waker timeline remained in the child timeline for countless years, waiting to train the rightful spirit of the hero, the one that would defeat Ganondorf in the Twilight Princess timeline before he would allow himself to pass on from being the hero shade. Since he was currently living in the Twilight Princess timeline, this eliminated the opportunity for his spirit to be reborn to save Hyrule when Ganon broke free from the Sacred Realm back in his original adult Wind Waker timeline. This left only one option for the Kingdom of Hyrule to be saved in the Wind Waker timeline: chance. The fate of Hyrule rested upon one who just happened to be courageous enough to step up to Ganon. It is undeniable that Ganon started the events of the Wind Waker. He was, after all, looking for the Triforce of Wisdom. He was kidnapping any girl he could possibly find with pointy ears, like Zelda should have, ears that he believed could hear the call of the goddess. Well, in all of his searching, he made just one mistake. He just happened to kidnap the wrong kid's sister, starting our young hero of the Wind's adventure. He wasn't called to be a hero. He didn't have a weird dream or get suddenly teleported to a new land. He didn't fall through a portal to a new world or jump through a magic painting. He just had a brotherly love and extreme desire to protect his kid sister. He started his journey to save her and her alone. This led him to showing immense amounts of courage, collecting 3 orbs to gain entrance to Hyrule, collect the Master Sword, awaken 2 sages to imbue the sword with the power to repel evil once again, commit no small amounts of fraternizing with pirates, and to dig up 8 long since buried pieces of the Triforce just to gain entrance back into Hyrule to have an epic showdown with the Demon King Ganon, and royally kick his trash, all to rescue his little sister. Everything else was just a byproduct. But do we really believe that the goddess Hylia left all of this up to chance? Up to a kid having brotherly love? I really don't think so. So let's rewind a little bit. After the battle with Puppet Ganon from atop his devilish tower, Ganon's voice echoes round. Yes, surely you are the hero of Time Reborn. Your time has come. Come now, stand before me. I believe that the reason why the hero of time took so long to come to Hyrule's aid was because his spirit was still living in the Twilight Princess timeline, unable to be reborn in the Wind Waker timeline until that spirit had passed on. It wasn't simply left up to chance. The goddess of time directed the spirit of the hero back to his original timeline at a time to once again be reborn right before Ganon made his true move, to assemble his Triforce and finally put an end to the evil that he was unable to kill in his last life. But that's just my theory. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this theory. I'm Hyrule Monkey. I'll catch you guys the next time I decide to monkey around in Hyrule.